Hi students, welcome back to this video classes. So in the last video we completed some questions in exercise 3.4. So in this video we continue the remaining sums. Let's see the fourth one in second Roman. Meena went to a bank to withdraw 2000 rupees. She asked the cashier to give her 50 rupees and 100 rupees notes only. Meena got 25 notes in all. Find how many notes of 50 rupees and 100 rupees she received. Okay, once again, Meena went to a bank to withdraw 2000 rupees. She asked the cashier to give her 50 rupees and 100 rupees notes only. That means she received this 2000 rupees as 50 rupees and 100 rupees notes only. So Meena got 25 notes in all. That means at the end of transaction she got 25 notes in all. That means in this 25 notes some are 50 rupees notes and some are 100 rupees notes. Then you find how many notes of 50 rupees and 100 rupees she received. So here what are the two unknowns? The number of 50 rupees and the 100 rupees notes are the two unknowns. Let us take the two unknowns as x and y. Let number of 50 rupees notes be x and the number of 100 rupees notes be y. So according to the question, total she got 25 notes. That means x plus y is equal to 25. Here x presents the number of notes 50 rupees notes and y presents the number of 100 rupees notes. So totally she got 25 notes, means x plus y is equal to 25. This is the first equation. Then where is the second equation? Here the second equation is we frame from the total money. Here total money is 2000 rupees. In case if she got x 50 rupees notes, what is the total amount only 50 rupees notes? It is equal to 50 x rupees. Okay, and if she got y 100 rupees notes, so what is the total amount for this 100 rupees notes? It is equal to 100 y rupees. Okay, so total amount she received from the bank is 2000 rupees. So as per this, what is the total amount she received? It is equal to 50x plus 100y. It is equal to 2000. This is the second equation. Do you understand the second one? Okay, so the second equation here I form from the total money. At the end of the transaction she received 25 notes. So the total number of 50 rupees notes and the 100 rupees notes is 25. So that's why x plus y is equal to 25. This is the first equation. And at the end of the transaction she takes total 2000 rupees. Okay, so as per the we taken, she received x 50 rupees notes. So she receives 50x rupees only on 50 rupees and y 100 rupees notes. That means she receives 100y rupees only for 100 rupees. So the total, so 50x plus 100y, it is equal to 2000 rupees. So this is the second equation. Now solve these two equations by elimination method. Before that, let us observe the second equation. I think there is a simplification that implies, so 50x plus 100y. So in these two terms 50 is the common factor, so take it out. So 50 into x plus 2y is equal to 2000. So that implies when you transpose this 50 to right side, x plus 2y is equal to 2000 by 50. So it is equal to x plus 2y is equal to 40. Okay, let us take this one as the second equation. Now solve 1 and 2 by elimination method. Here the first equation is x plus y is equal to 25 and the second equation is x plus 2y is equal to 40. Here numerical x quotients are equal but the signs are same. So subtract second equation from the first equation. So that's why here I change the signs of the second equation. Okay, so plus x minus x cancel, plus y minus 2y, it is equal to minus y is equal to 25 minus 40, it is equal to minus 15. Then y is equal to 15. Okay, and you substitute y either in equation 1 or 2. Equation 1. So x plus y is equal to 15 is equal to 25. X is equal to 25 minus 15. X is equal to 10. So hence the number of 50 rupees notes is 10 and the number of 100 rupees notes is 15. The number of 50 rupees notes is 10 and the number of 100 rupees notes is 15. Okay, so let's come to the next one. Here the next question is, a lending library has a fixed charge for the first 3 days and an additional charge for each day thereafter. So Sharita paid 27 rupees for a book kept for 7 days, while Susie paid 21 rupees for the book she kept for 5 days. Find the fixed charge and the charge for each etc. day. I think already you solved this type of problem in the previous sections, previous exercise, taxi fare. So a taxi fare is fixed charge along with the distance covered. Okay, here also we follow the same thing. Here taxi, in that question taxi is there, here book is there. So a lending library has a fixed charge for the first 3 days. It is clearly given for the first 3 days they are assigned a fixed charge, but in the taxi fare it is not assigned. Observe the difference in between them. So in the taxi fare sum, yes, we take fixed charge, but we are not defined the fixed charge for how many kilometers. But here it is very clear, the fixed charge for the first 3 days and additional charge for each day thereafter. That means after the 3 days, if you have kept that book with you, then you pay additional charge. Then Sarita paid 27 rupees for a book kept for 7 days. So Sarita kept a book 7 days with her and she paid 27 rupees. And here you observe, here the fixed charge is given for first 3 days. It is given. So that's why here we treat these 7 days as the total number of days. That means in these 7 days, fixed days are involved and the additional days are also involved. And while Susie paid 21 rupees for the book, she kept for 5 days. That means in these 5 days, fixed days are involved and the additional days are also involved. But in the taxi fare sum, we take these two quantities as the additional values, additional distance the covered. But here fixed charge is given, so that's why fixed charge for how many days it is given. That's why we treat this 7 days and 5 days is the total number of days. Okay, so here what are the two unknowns? The fixed charge and the charge for each extra day. They are the two unknowns. Let us take the two unknowns as x and y. Let the fixed charge be x rupees and charge for each extra day is equal to y rupees. Okay, now according to the question, for 7 days Sharita paid 27 rupees. Okay, just you ignore this 27 rupees. In case Sharita kept a book for 7 days, how much she paid? Find that value from these two quantities. Okay, so totally how many days Sharita kept a book? 7 days. Out of these 7 days, first 3 days, here we have a fixed charge. How much it has? X rupees. And additionally, how many days are there? Out of the 7 days, already we charge for first 3 days. And additionally, how many days are there? There are 4 days. So per each day, she pays y rupees. So for 4 days, how much she pay? 4 y rupees. So for 7 days, how much she pays? Fixed charge plus charge for additional day, charge for additional days. Okay, so it is equal to x plus 4y. It is equal to 27. 27 is already given. For these 7 days, she paid 27 rupees, and we find this amount from this two quantities. Fixed charge be x rupees and charge for each extra day is y rupees. From these two quantities, we are finding the total amount for 7 days. It is equal to x plus 4y. It is equal to 27y because it is already given. So this is the first equation. And Susi pays, and Susi paid 21 rupees for the book she kept for 5 days. So out of this 5 days, first 3 days charge is x rupees, and additionally how many days are there? There are 2 days. So for the 2 days, how much she pay? For each day y rupees. For 2 days she pays 2y rupees. So the total charge is x plus 2y. It is equal to 21. This is the second equation. I think you understand what is the difference between the previous sum and this sum. In the taxi fare sum, the fixed charge is not clear. Okay, but in this sum, the fixed charge is clearly mentioned. This fixed charge for the first 3 days. That's why here we are taking this 7 days and 5 days as the total number of days. But in the taxi fare sum, we are take that 20 kilometers and 50 kilometers as the additional distance. Why? Because fixed charge is not clear. That's why we are taken like that. Okay, do you understand? Okay, let's move. Now solve these two equations by elimination method. Already x coefficients are equal. So by subtracting second equation from the first equation, you solve it. Change the signs of the second equation. Okay, plus x minus x cancel. 4y minus 2y. It is equal to 2y. And it is equal to 27 minus 21, 6. Y is equal to 6 by 2. So y is equal to 3. Now substitute this y in equation 1. Okay, here the equation 1 is x plus 2y, x plus 4y is equal to 27. So x plus 4y means 4 into 3 is equal to 27. X plus 12 is equal to 27. So x is equal to 27 minus 12. X is equal to 15. So x means it is a fixed charge, and y means it is a charge for each extra day. So hence the fixed charge is 15 rupees and the charge for each extra day is 3 rupees. So this is exercise 3.4. Let's come to the exercise 3.5. Okay, so exercise 3.5, the first question is, which of the following pairs of linear equations has unique solution, no solution, or infinitely many solutions? In case there is a unique solution, find it by the using cross multiplication method. So according to our new syllabus, cross multiplication method is removed from our syllabus. So no need to practice on cross multiplication method, but already we learnt. So that's why here we apply the cross multiplication method. Okay, let's see. Which of the following pairs of linear equations has unique solution, no solution, or infinitely many solutions. Here some pair of equations are given. Out of these 4 pairs, just you identify which pair has unique solution, no solution, or infinitely solutions. Okay, we can easily find out by comparing the corresponding ratios of the corresponding terms. We can easily say it has unique solution, no solution, or infinitely many solutions once we recall that. Okay, so if a1 by a2 is not equal to b1 by b2, then the pair of equations has unique solution. If a1 by a2 is equal to b1 by b2 is equal to c1 by c2, then the pair of equations has infinitely many solutions. If a1 by a2 is equal to b1 by b2 not equal to c1 by c2, then pair of equations has no solution. So by comparing the ratios of corresponding terms of the two linear equations, we can decide unique solution, infinitely many solutions, or number of solutions. Okay, so in case there is a unique solution, find it by using cross multiplication method. So that means if that pair has unique solution, then you find that solution by cross multiplication method. Okay, let us take the first pair. Here the first pair is x minus 3y minus 3 is equal to 0 and 3x minus 9y minus 2 is equal to 0. Okay, first find out the number of solutions of these two equations by comparing the ratios of corresponding terms. Okay, here a1 by a2 it is equal to 1 by 3. a1 means x quotient of the first equation and a2 means the x quotient of the second equation. a1 by a2 is equal to 1 by 3 and b1 by b2 is equal to minus 3 by minus 9. It is equal to 1 by 3 and c1 by c2 is equal to minus 3 by minus 2. It is equal to 3 by 2. Now compare the ratios. a1 by a2 is equal to b1 by b2 not equal to c1 by c2. That means these two equations has no solution. Why? Because its graphical representation is parallel lines. They are not intersect at any way. So these two equations has no common solution. Okay. So let's take the second pair. Okay. The second pair is 2x plus y is equal to 5 and 3x plus 2y is equal to 8. Let's a1 by a2 is equal to 2 by 3, b1 by b2 is equal to 1 by 2, c1 by c2 is equal to 5 by 8. By comparing the three ratios, a1 by a2 is not equal to b1 by b2 is not equal to c1 by c2. No need to compare the third ratio. Why? Because the first two ratios are not equal. So a1 by a2 is not equal to b1 by b2. So these two equations has a unique solution, and this unique solution we find it by cross multiplication method. I think you remember the cross multiplication method. So to complete this cross multiplication method, first we arrange all the coefficients of the two linear equations in a proper order. Here what are the variables? X and y are the variables, and here we take 1. Now arrange the all coefficients of the terms in these two equations in a proper order. Okay, so generally first we take the y coefficient of the first equation. Y coefficient of the first equation is 1 and the next constant, but here the constant presents on the right side, but in cross multiplication we must present that constant on the left side. So when you transpose this 5 to left side, then it changes to minus 5. This is the most important. When you apply this cross multiplication, the constant term, not only constant term, all terms must present on the left side only. Right side part we make completely 0. Okay, so first y quotient and then constant and x quotient 2 and again y quotient. This is the order of the quotients in the first equation. and in the same order we arrange in the second equation. Here y coefficient, in the second equation the y coefficient is 2 and x constant is minus side. Here also constant term is present on the right side, so we must transpose it to the left side, so it's minus 8 and x quotient is 3 and again y quotient is 2. Okay, now x by cross multiplication, multiply this one to this one. 1 into minus 8 minus of 2 into minus 5 minus 10 is equal to y by, multiply these two, minus 5 into 3 minus 15 minus of 2 into minus 8 minus 16 is equal to 1 by 2 into 2 4 minus 3 into 1. Okay, so when you do this step, the order is the most important. First you multiply these two only minus these two. Okay, now simplify this. X by minus 8 minus of minus 10, it is equal to 2. Y by minus 15 minus of minus 16, it is equal to 1. 1 by 4 minus 3, it is equal to 1. Okay, now equal this x by 2 to 1 and y by 1 to 1. If x by 2 is equal to 1, then x is equal to 2. If y by 1 is equal to 1, y is equal to 1. So this is the solution of that pair. Okay, let's come to the third pair. Here third pair is 3x minus 5y is equal to 20, 6x minus 10y is equal to 40. As usual, find out the ratios. A1 by A2 is equal to 3 by 6 is equal to 1 by 2 and B1 by B2 minus 5 by minus 10, it is equal to 1 by 2 and C1 by C2 is equal to 20 by 40, it is equal to 1 by 2. So by comparing the ratios, A1 by A2 is equal to B1 by B2 is equal to C1 by C2. That means graphical representation is coincident lines and these two equations has infinitely many common solutions. This pair of linear equations has infinitely many common solutions. Okay, here we are not present that, leave it. Let's come to the fourth pair. Here the fourth pair is x minus 3y minus 7 is equal to 0 and 3x minus 3y minus 15 is equal to 0. Find out the ratios. A1 by A2 is equal to 1 by 3 and B1 by B2 is equal to minus 3 by minus 3, it is equal to 1 and C1 by C2 is equal to minus 7 by minus 15. So by comparing these three ratios, A1 by A2 is not equal to B1 by B2. So this pair has a unique solution and you find that unique solution by cross multiplication method. So in this cross multiplication method, first we arrange all the coefficients of the two equations in a proper order. X, y, 1. Let us take the first equation. First write y coefficient minus 3 and constant minus 1. Here constant presence on the left side. Keep in your mind constant presence on the left side, so you take that constant as it is and then x quotient 1, again y quotient minus 3. Next, in the next equation also we arrange that quotients in the same order. First y quotient minus 3, next constant minus 15, next x quotient 3 and then again y quotient minus 3. Okay, then x by minus 3 into minus 15 plus 45 minus of minus 3 into minus 7 plus 21 is equal to y by minus 7 into 3 minus 21 minus of minus 15 into 1 minus 15 into 1 minus 15 is equal to 1 by, just a minute, 1 by 1 into minus 3, minus 3, minus of 3 into minus 3, minus 9. Now simplify this. X by 45 minus 21, it is equal to 24, and y by minus 21 minus of minus 15, it is equal to minus 6, is equal to 1 by minus 3 minus of minus 9, 6. Now equal this x by 24 to 1 by 6 and y by minus 6 to 1 by 6. So if x by 24 is equal to 1 by 6, then x is equal to 24 by 6, 4 times. And if y by minus 6 is equal to 1 by 6, y is equal to minus 6 by 6, it is equal to minus 1. Here the solution is 4 comma minus 1. This is the first Roman in exercise 3.5. Remaining sums will continue in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.